It's the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP. Now, here's Todd.
And welcome once again to the show. It kind of becomes a tradition this time of year. This is a show we always bring in a new batch of residents that are coming to town through Known. They have a rural health residency program, which we've been chatting about this for years and years now, and it really has turned into kind of beneficial. We've gotten a few docs sticking around these parts who have come through on a residency as well. So it's time to introduce three new doctors who are going to be practicing here in their next turn of things. But first, we'll talk with Michael Wauters, who's from Known, who's kind of taken over this program the last couple of years. Michael, good to see you again.
Good to see you here, Todd.
So for those who know nothing about this, maybe you can give a little of the history of this.
A little of the background. So we started in 2017. Dr. Epstein, a longtime community physician, got the program going. The residents spend a first year over at Swedish in Seattle, and then they come out to Port Angeles for their second and third year of training. When they're done with that, they're fully fledged family medicine physicians and go off to serve largely rural communities. We've been fortunate to have a large number of them stay in the community. Currently, 5 of our 14 graduates are practicing on the peninsula. The majority of those at North Olympic Healthcare Network. One of them is at Jamestown. But we're excited next year, actually, one of our current about-to-graduate residents will be going to OMC, so kind of spreading the wealth out through the community.
That was kind of part of the plan behind this setup as well. I know, talking with Dr. Epstein so many years ago.
No, definitely.
Let's put this in place as an option. Let people get a little taste of it, what it's like to actually be in a community like this.
No, definitely. I mean, we're really gearing our graduates up to be able to do full spectrum rural practice if they want to, and some of them choose different routes. But we've had people go all over from Alaska to Arizona, and then obviously a goal was to hopefully bring doctors to this community, and that's definitely been panning out. We've got a new crop here.
So in bigger picture of things, I mean, it's always been a challenge to get, first of all, people to specialize in just becoming family practitioners anymore. Mm-hmm. That's challenge one. Has that changed much in the world of med students now?
It's still a struggle, actually. Yeah. I mean, the reimbursement is less. So exactly. A lot of folks that ultimately do go in this path really have a heart for serving others in their community. We're hoping over time to realign those incentives, make it easier to make this choice. Because, I mean, honestly, there's big loan burdens. There's things that make it tough when you're looking at this job versus that. But we feel really fortunate with the residents we've had join our program.
The other part of this, too, is that typically you think about rural medicine, this is kind of one of those I'm going to have to hang my shingle and run my own practice sort of job. And that can be daunting for people to think, and realizing that there now are options. You could come to an organization and practice in a rural setting, but not have to be the business savvy doctor, so to speak.
Yeah, no, there's not really these days, there's not too much of that old model. There's sort of a newer version called the direct primary care, but no, there's definitely organizations you can join, and you don't have to run the business. You can just do the medicine part.
Right. And you get to meet up with some cool folks that are established around these parts, kind of like living here, right?
I would say so, yeah.
So what's the best part from your side of it? And then we're going to talk with these guys when you bring these folks in every year.
Yeah. So this is my job, about to launch into my second year, though I've been working with the residents since 2017, 2018, but second year as program director. We get some really talented and passionate residents, and seeing them grow, especially over the second and third year here to become ready to launch, is just an exciting process. One of my recent residents I've been training to learn vasectomy, a rather difficult skill. In the clinic recently, he got called in to help with a difficult case with some of our other attending providers and was able to sort of save the day. So just seeing them grow and progress and get ready to launch out there and go really serve their communities of the future is super exciting.
Right. All right. These are folks that are right at the end of their whole training. I mean, this is as being a doctor is being a doctor pretty much at this point.
I mean, so all these folks with us here today, they've completed medical school. They are physicians. They've already done one of their years of residency. Now they got 2 more to go. But no, they are physicians. It's just that final piece of training that allows them to call themselves family medicine physicians.
It's also helpful for your clinic, too. I mean, you're getting some staff that helps out. You just alluded to it. I mean, there's sometimes some folks to help out when things get to crunch time. Yeah,
we've got 4 physicians on our current team that went through the program. Yeah. So very much so, they're helping meet our mission.
All right. You want to introduce these guys, or do you want me to?
Sure, I can introduce them. So starting just to my right here, we've got Dr. Adam Casey, goes by Aloe. And we got Dr. Alex Soos and Dr. Sage Arvila.
All right. We're going to talk to each of them. Aloe, Should I call you that?
Yeah.
All right. Or should I just call you Dr. Casey? Because I feel like I need to say it that way, too.
I go by all equally.
All right. Tell us a bit about you, where you're from and how you kind of got into this.
Oh my gosh. Did a lot of moving around, but primarily from rural Oklahoma, Texas. Both sides of my family are from those areas, and I spent a lot of time growing up in those places. So,
Okay.
But went to med school. I had a interesting med school experience. It was kind of split into two different locations. So I spent my first year in Phoenix, and then my other 3 years in Brooklyn, New York.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How did that happen? I got to ask. I mean, that's a
It's the way that
geography.
the program is built.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So you do one of your years there in Phoenix, and then you spend your other 3 years in another place.
Right. And you just happened to land in Brooklyn. And that's
Just
it.
happened. Yeah.
Very good. Rural medicine. You already talked about it. You come from a rural community, it sounds like, somewhat. So did that kind of play into your decision to, maybe take this on as a final couple of years?
Definitely. Yeah. I knew kind of like from the outset, of coming into medicine that's what I wanted to do, was to go into rural family practice. So yeah, I've been thinking about this for a long time.
There is a big challenge with this, though, and going into a specialty rather than as family practitioner. I mean, there's loan burdens. I mean, there's some real life stuff you have to kind of weigh out. Take us through that part of the mental process, I guess, as you're finishing up.
Gosh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Coming from, I come from a family of blue collar workers. And I'm one of the first people to graduate from college, coming from my family. So, kind of like the prospects for me at that time, I knew that, I wanted to get out and see more of the world. But I wasn't, I wasn't necessarily thinking medicine, whenever I first started this journey, but it kind of came to me over time that this is something that I wanted to do.
All right, that was my next question. Did you always want to be a doctor? No.
I got my undergraduate degree in cultural and linguistic anthropology.
Now, that's a big switch.
Yeah.
So how did you get from that to going to med school?
Well, I knew, when I was growing up, I was always interested in archaeology, anthropology. Those were always, something I always had my head in a book. But then I got to college and I started to do those things. And while I thought it was really interesting, I knew that I wouldn't want to be in academics my whole life, specifically doing those things. Mm-hmm. So whenever I got to thinking, well, what do I want to do? Family medicine, eventually, it became apparent that kind of the intersection of culture and helping people and learning more about the natural world that we live in, family medicine was kind of at the intersection of all of those things.
All right. Had you ever heard of Port Angeles, Washington before this?
I had not, honestly. So I did my undergraduate training here in the Pacific Northwest, down in Portland.
Okay.
But yeah, I come up to Bainbridge a couple of times to visit some folks in Seattle, and I did some guiding actually up in the North Cascades. So I used to be a wilderness guide.
But you didn't get this far west.
No, didn't get this far west. No.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
This is great. All right, let's go next to you, and that's Alex Soos. I guess same question. How did you get started in all of this? Tell us your backstory.
Yeah, so I am from Michigan, born and raised. I did all of my schooling in Michigan, so I was from kind of the southwest part of the state next to Lake Michigan. Feels honestly kind of similar to Port Angeles, about the same size of town. We get a lot of tourism in the summer, nice lake. But I went to school at University of Michigan, did my undergrad there, I did med school and a public health degree there. So I spent a lot of time in Michigan, and then spent a little bit of time between college and med school, actually out in Mozambique doing Peace Corps for a couple years. So that was really my only time outside of the state. And then when it came time to applying for kind of, thinking about a location, I knew I wanted Northwest. I actually wasn't thinking about Michigan in the short term, just because I think out here there's a really good reputation for training family medicine physicians who think they want to do, comprehensive care, everything from deliveries to inpatient work and kind of the whole spectrum. And I had a mentor who also worked out here that spoke really highly of the area.
So you had a little bit of connection, but not a direct connection to this place.
Correct. Yeah.
Very
it was
good.
kind of a launching point.
So same question that I asked Adam earlier is rural medicine. What made you kind of gravitate towards that?
Yeah, I grew up in a farming family. So my mom grew up on a farm. A lot of my family still kind of work in that line of work, and I feel like it's not quite as rural as maybe some of the places out here like Forks, but there's certainly the same kind of unique healthcare needs that come with growing up in a farming community and being a little bit distanced from the healthcare system. And I think selfishly, physicians who practice in rural spaces or providers who practice in rural spaces become really good providers. You
Right.
learn to do a lot of it without specialists and kind of provide a little bit more access to folks who really need it.
Take us through med school, though. Is there a real pressure to specialize? I mean, or at least you feel there's a pressure to do that?
I would say, especially if you go to a school that's academic in nature, there's a lot of I know the school that I went to had recently put, a family medicine provider kind of on the board and in leadership, but before that year, there really hadn't been as many primary care providers. So there's a lot of either overt pressure or kind of peer pressure that kind of comes with growing or, spending your training in a pretty academic space.
Do you always want to be a doctor? Is that always the career path for you?
I thought about it for a long time. Part of it, I think, because my last name's Soos, and so Dr. Soos. kind of
I never even
rolled
thought of
on.
that. Yeah.
But I really liked, similar to Aloe, I think the cross between culture, relationships, kind of getting to know your community, and, for somebody who wants to keep learning and is curious about a lot of different things, medicine's really fun.
All right. Well, welcome to the community. You got a couple years to kick it around here for a while, so that'll be great. All right, let's talk to Sage Arvila. Is that right? Did I get that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Arvila.
Let's talk about you. Your backstory. How did you get to this?
Yeah, I actually grew up out here on the peninsula. So I grew up in Forks. My family moved when I was in late middle school, early high school into Kitsap County, and now my family's scattered around the Kitsap Peninsula, but I have a direct connection out here, and I loved growing up here, and so that's what brought me back out here. I graduated from high school in Kitsap County, and then I went up to Western Washington University in Bellingham. Took a short jaunt over to Boston for medical school and then came back for residency. So I'm super excited to be back out here and even more excited to be out of the city.
Not a big city girl.
Not a big city girl. Any city, happy to be gone.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time I've talked to someone who's directly had a link that closely, I think.
Our second
maybe?
class had somebody from Port Angeles, Kristen Poole, who actually now works
yes,
at Jamestown.
you're right. That's right.
But
Yeah.
other than that, I think you might be our second.
Yeah, so that's
Sage.
pretty exciting. So when the opportunity kind of bubbled up, you said, absolutely, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, there's no guarantee when you applied that this was going to work out, so it was a very pleasant surprise this has happened for you.
Yeah, no, I was very happy when I found out I matched out here.
Right, very good.
Because I was definitely hoping to come back, so.
Did you always want to be a doctor?
I did not. I started out in undergrad thinking about teaching, and I was in a teaching program, and then I kind of transitioned when I got to student teaching away from teaching because I found that I really wanted to continue learning myself. And I still really love to teach, but I feel like there's a lot of opportunities for teaching within medicine, and so the combination of lifelong learning and also getting to be a teacher to my patients, to my colleagues, to medical students, all of those things really drew me in towards medicine.
All right, you're all the way back in Boston. I'll ask the same question. Was there pressure to not go into, rural general practitioner work?
Yeah, I think that my school had a great family medicine department, and the folks in the family medicine department were very supportive of me going into family medicine. I feel like the school overall was less supportive of family medicine, and we did not get as many folks from Boston who went into family medicine. The culture is very different on the East Coast, and there were only 2 students in my class who actually chose to go into family medicine out of about 160 of us. But I do feel like there were mentors around who were actively encouraging to those of us who did want to.
All right, so I guess you become the default tour guide for these other 2 that are in here, right? You get to tell them where to go and all of that stuff as they're
Yeah, it's been a while, so I feel like I'm discovering a lot of new things out here myself. But
well, welcome back. Welcome
you.
back home as well. I should have asked this earlier. Maybe you can, Sage, tell us a bit about the application process. You have to put in for this thing, and there's some interviews and some things that happen. It's not just a set. Oh, yep, you're in.
Yeah, residents go through a process called the match in their last year of medical school. And so basically we apply to a ton of different programs in the specialty that we're interested in. And then the programs review our applications and decide if they want to interview us. You then go through like a process of interviewing. And then at the end of the day, what happens is you make a list of your favorites in order. And then the programs make a list of their favorite applicants in order. And some computer somewhere runs an equation and decides where we go.
And yours matched back home.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to ask each of these, but Sage is already here. What do you do when you're not being a doctor? What do you like doing in your free time?
I love to sail. And so I am looking to get involved in the sailing community out here. I like water sports in general, like paddleboarding, kayaking.
Okay.
And then I have a dog and 2 cats who I enjoy spending lots of time with. Yeah.
And so far, describe because you guys have been on the ground running here. This isn't like your first day on the job, right? Mm-hmm. So what have you been doing since you came to town?
Yeah, we've have a month to kind of get used to the community, settle into the community. And so we've been meeting with local community organizations, learning about the resources that are available out here on the peninsula before we start seeing patients ourselves. And then we've been kind of starting to integrate into clinic. And we've also had a lot of free time to get to know the area, go on hikes. Alex and I went paddleboarding this last weekend at Lake Crescent. So we've had time to really get to know the community and what's out here.
All right. Well, I guess that's part of what Alex, my question is, what do you do when you're not being a doctor? Paddleboarding with your friends, I guess, is part of it. But what do you like to do outside?
Yeah, that was my first paddleboard experience, and it was the best choice I've made so far coming out here, other than being out here. But being out in nature, hiking, swimming, running, paddleboarding. I do some things that are less outdoorsy. I like knitting a lot. I discovered the knitting circle around here already. Reading. And then trying to find community. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of different opportunities out here that I've been impressed by, either, live music or running club, or the library is really great. There's just a lot of opportunities we're exploring this month.
All right. Knitting is a popular thing. There's knitting that comes up, Michael, almost every time when I talk with
a lot of our residents have been very into knitting. And
crochet,
like education days, there's usually somebody working on something. It's great.
I don't know. I get it. It's a great mental purger in some ways. You can kind of really clear your head. I understand that. All right. Let's go over to Adam and a bit about you. What do you do when you're not doing this doctor thing? What do you like to do?
Well, right now it's moving into my new place. So, but I love to spend a lot of time outdoors. So that's where I like to, go out, spend time, especially getting to know the landscape. I feel like just because a lot of this training journey has, required that I be in a lot more urban areas. Finally kind of coming back to a place, where I can get outside and, get to know the mountains and, all the things that live there, I'm actually really excited about. So.
All right. Sounds like all three of you are glad to be out of the city and out doing this part of your medical training. So welcome, all three of you here, and we hope you enjoy the next couple of years here, and maybe, you'll stick around too. Who knows when things are all said and done. Michael, they take us kind of through what happens with this core. You've got kind of different levels of people. We have the group we talked with last year at this time.
Yeah.
They're a year ahead.
They are, yeah. So this current cohort, they finished their first year in Seattle. Or just kind of finishing the final block of that. So then they'll have their second year, which is a fair bit of inpatient work over at OMC, delivering babies, seeing people in medicine wards, ICU, along with a lot of clinic. There's not as much flexibility. And then the third year is really a time to sort of craft, looking at what will their future jobs be. There's a lot more elective time, we call it, where they can decide whether that's here locally or going somewhere else to gain experiences to prepare them for that future job they're going to be taking, and some time to interview and start looking for those. So kind of 2 more years here, intense inpatient, and then a little more flexibility as they complete their training.
All right. Well, welcome again. Great to have that. I always love this show because I get to meet some really cool people that have decided to come this way. Michael, it's great to talk to you as well. Thanks for stopping by and bringing them along.
Thanks so much for having us, Todd.
Michael Wauters there from Known. Also, we have Adam, Aloe, Casey here, Dr. Casey, Dr. Soos, I didn't even catch that. I need to tell folks, so it's Soos. It's not like the actual author. Yeah, right. And Sage Arvila, thanks for coming in today, and good luck, you guys. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more on our show right after this.
This is the Todd Ortloff Show on News Radio KONP.